The living world. Nature and scope of biology. Science. The term science is derived from Latin word scientia, which means knowledge. So, the term science is used for knowledge gained by actual observation, found correct on verification and put in a systematic manner, or science provides us information based on facts. There are several branches of science, each dealing with a specific subject. Biology. It is the combination of two Greek words bios and logos. Bios means life and logos means study. Thus, biology is the branch of science which deals with the study of life. The first major biological observations were made by ancient Greek naturalist Aristotle, 384 to 322 BC. Aristotle has been designated as father of biology. The term biology was given by French naturalist Lamarck and Gottfried Treviranus of Germany, 1744 to 1829. Biology has been further classified into 1. Botany, 2. Zoology. The science of plants is called botany. The word botany has been derived from Greek word botany, which means pasture or plants. Technically, botany is called phytology, Greek phyto equals plants, logos equals study. Theophrastus, 370 to 287 BC, is known as father of botany. Zoology is the study of animals, Greek 1 equals animals, logos equals study. Aristotle is called father of zoology. Being broad-based and with multidisciplinary approach, the term biology has been replaced by life sciences or biological sciences. Microbiology. It is the branch of biology which deals with different aspects of microorganisms. Leeuwenhoek, 1632 to 1723, is called father of microbiology. Some branches of biology. Anatomy, study of internal structures of plants and animals after dissection. Biochemistry, study of chemistry of living matter, i.e. chemical composition, nature, mode of formation, functioning, in relation to life activities. Cytology, study of the structure and functions of cells and their organelles. Ecology, study of relationship between organisms and environment. Embryology, study of developmental stages of organisms up to hatching or birth. Endocrinology, study of endocrine glands and hormones action in animals. Evolution, study of the origin of life and the gradual differentiation or descent of species. Histology, study of tissues by microscopy. Immunology, study of resistance of organisms to infection. Limnobiology, study of freshwater lakes, ponds and streams. Morphology, study of form and structure of animals. Paleozoology, study of fossil animals. Physiology, study of functions of various parts within the organisms. Hadiobiology, study of effects of radioactivity on life. Taxonomy, study of classification of organisms and their evolutionary relationships with other organisms. Zoogeography, study of the distribution of animals over the earth. Specified branches of biology. Acarology, study of mites and ticks. Agriculture, science of fanning, raising crops and animal husbandry. Angiology, study of blood vascular system including veins and arteries. Anthology, study of flowers. Bacteriology, study of bacteria. Bryology, study of mosses and liverworts. Cardiology, study of heart. Dermatology, study of skin covering the body. Epidemiology, study of infection of parasites or epidemic diseases. Ethnology, study of different races of mankind. Etiology, study of cause of disease. Gerontology, study of growing old. Gynecology, study of female reproductive organs. Hematology, study of blood. Hepatology, study of liver. Philology, study of human beauty. Leprology, study of leprosy. Molecular biology, study of life sciences on molecular level, e.g., nucleic acids i.e., RNA and DNA and proteins. Myrmecology, study of ants and anteaters. Nematology, study of nematodes. Nephrology, study of kidney. Neurology, study of nervous system including brain. Oncology, study of tumors. Oology, study of eggs of birds. Ornithology, study of birds. Osteology, study of bones. Paleontology, study of fossils and their distribution. Pomology, study of fruit. Rhinology, study of nose and olfactory organs. Serology, study of serum, study of antigen-antibody reactions. Serpentology, study of snakes. Termitology, study of termites. Toxicology, study of toxic effects of drugs and harmful compounds. Therapeutics, science of healing. Trophology, study of nutrition. Virology, study of viruses. Zoophytology, study of drifting organisms such as diatoms. Zymology, study of fermentation processes. Fathers of various sciences. Father of zoology and biology and founder of embryology, Aristotle. Father of botany, Theophrastus. Father of genetics, G. J. Mendel. Father of evolutionary ideas, Empedocles. Father of eugenics, Francis Jan. Father of mutation, Hugo de Vries. Father of modern embryology, Carl Ernst von Baer. Father of paleontology, Leonardo da Vinci. Father of taxonomy, Carolus Linnaeus. Father of special creation theory, Father Suarez. Father of blood groups, K. Landsteiner. Father of blood circulation, William Harvey. Father of comparative anatomy, Cuvier. Father of modern genetics, W. Bateson. Father of human genetics, Archibald Garrod. Father of medicine, Hippocrates. Father of microbiology, Leeuwen Hoek. Father of immunology, Edward Jenner. Biology in ancient India. About 740 plants and 250 animals have been mentioned in Vedic literature. Few significant references in old literature are: 1. Chandogya Upanishad. Here the animals have been classified into 3 categories. I. Javaja, viviparous, e.g. mammals. 2. Andaja, oviparous, e.g. birds, reptiles, insects and worms. 3. Tilbija, vegetal origin, e.g. small animals. 2. Susruta Samhita, 600 BC. Here organisms were classified into I. Stavra, in which immobile organisms like plants were kept. 2. Jangama, in which mobile organisms like animals were placed. Medical science in ancient India. 2. Ashwini Kumars has been said to be practicing medicine during Vedic times. Dhanvantari has been called as god of medicine. Susruta has been called as father of surgery. Few important references are: 1. Susruta studied human anatomy on dead bodies. 2. Susruta carried plastic surgery on human nose, rhinoplasty. 3. Ophthalmic surgery. Susruta carried an eye surgery like extraction of cataracts. 4. Clotting of blood. Susruta used non-poisonous live leeches for checking clotting of blood in post-operative conditions. Now it's dearly established that hirudin is released along saliva of leeches to produce this kind of effect. 5. Charaka Samhita, 100 BC. It is said to be primarily written by Agnavisa under the guidance of Atreya, 600 B. Charaka was first to discuss the concepts of digestion, metabolism and immunity. Scope of biology. Biology creates an awareness of vast array of forms of life which normally goes unseen. Biology offers a large scope and provides a large field for study. 1. Helps us to understand ourselves better. It unfolds different queries of life along with its cultural, social, philosophical, and economical aspects. So it helps in understanding the life better. 2. Biology and interrelationship of living beings. Study of biology helps us in understanding the wonderful phenomenon and laws of nature which finally tell us to predict the behavior of different living beings under changed conditions. 3. Biology and resources. Biology helps us to know how to trap and conserve the resources available to us, e.g. fishes, birds, forests, etc. 4. Biology and literature. Knowledge of natural biology has greatly enriched the literature with their references in stories and poems, etc. Poets and other authors have been inspired by the beautiful and interesting plants and animals and frequently figure them in stories, poems, and dramas. 5. Study of nature is a rewarding experience. Many plants like narcissus, dahlia, gloriosa, roses, marigold, aster, etc. are used for ornamental purposes. The variety available in animals is widely enjoyed in zoological parks. 6. Solving problems. Biology makes us to understand the present-day problems such as population growth, pollution, conservation of wildlife and survival of man, etc. The future directions of biotechnology, conservation of biodiversity, maintenance of environment and human welfare remain in the hands of biologists. 7. Biology medicinal aspect. Several plants like Atropa belladonna, cinchona, are sources of atropine, quinine, etc. Many members of fungi such as penicillium and streptomyces give rise to antibiotics like penicillin and streptomycin. Plants are the major source of vitamins. Drugs are first tested on animals before being used for treating man. Animals provide scientific hints for the production and use of medicines. Many diseases like malaria are caused and transmitted by animals. 8. Solving approach of biology. Knowledge for eradication of diseases like malaria, smallpox, etc. have been achieved by scientists basically due to desire and determination to solve the problem. 9. Ecosystem and living organisms. Biology helps us in understanding the various ecosystems. The living community and non-living environment interact with each other and exchange of material in them takes place. 10. Biotechnology. Biotechnologists have produced many genetically modified, GM, crops. Plenty of studies are being made by geneticists, evolutionists and cytologists to fudge the efficacy of biotechnology. Basic properties of living organisms. Living beings are called organisms. Living organisms are similar to non-living objects in being formed of similar elements which combine in similar way to form similar molecules, called biomolecules in living organisms, and follow similar physical and chemical laws like gravitation, magnetism, action and reaction, etc. Living organisms show a great biodiversity and are classified into different kingdoms: Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae and Animalia, but all of these share the following properties. 1. They have definite organization. 2. They always have cellular nature, so are either unicellular, e.g. amoeba, paramecium, etc., or multicellular, example hydra, man, etc. 3. They show coordination between different parts of body to maintain homeostasis, constant internal environment, inside the body. 4. They have the ability of movements and locomotion. 5. They show metabolic functions in the presence of energy. 6. These have the ability of intussusceptional, internal, growth and development. 7. These have specific receptors, example sense organs to receive external and internal stimuli, and specific effectors, e.g., muscles and glands to give specific response. 8. These have regulatory mechanisms, e.g., nerves and hormonal in animals, and only hormonal in plants, to maintain homeostasis in the body. 9. These show adaptations to their environment to increase their chances of survival. 10. These show variations which help in speciation and evolution. 11. These have reproductive powers for continuity of their race. Levels of biological organization. 1. Levels of organization common in both living and non-living. I. Atomic level. The lowest level of organization in both living and non-living is the atom. All living organisms are basically made up of 4 chemical elements: carbon, C, hydrogen, H, oxygen, 0, and nitrogen, N, with only about 1% other elements. The non-living matter may possess other elements, such as silica, calcium, iron, etc., in variable composition. 2. Molecular level atoms combine to form molecules, which undergo chemical reactions to form organelles. Atoms, molecules, inorganic compounds, simple organic compounds, complex organic compound, protoplasm plus cell. 2. Levels of organization found only in living organisms. I. Cellular level. All multicellular organisms are made up of cells. The cell is considered as basic unit of life and constitutes the smallest level of organization of the living organisms. The second, tissue level, in multicellular organisms similar or dissimilar cells, having a common origin and a common function, combine to form a tissue. Each tissue performs a specific role, example xylem conducts water and minerals in plants. 3. Organ level, different tissue are organized to form distinct organs. For example, xylem, phloem, chlorin, kerna, parenchyma get organized to form a leaf. Universal. 4. Organ system level. For example, the brain works with the spinal cord and a network of nerves to form the nervous system. V. Individual or organismic level. A multicellular individual, having many organ systems, forms an organismic level of organization. Cell -4 tissue, organ -4 organ system, plus individual. 3. Levels of organization beyond the individual organism. I. Population level, all the individuals of a species in a particular area. Where they interact with each other, belong to a population. For example, there is a population of oak trees in a temperate deciduous forest. 2. Community level, the populations of different species of plants and animals present in a particular area make up biotic community. 3. Ecosystem level, populations of different plants and animals interact among themselves and with the non-living components of the area form as the ecosystem. 4. Biosphere level, the different ecosystems, small or big, of all the geographical regions of the world form the biosphere or the entire livable part of the earth. Building blocks of life and their function. A living organism is formed of many types of inorganic as well as organic biomolecules. Inorganic compounds include water, minerals etc., and are always microbiomolecules, small-sized, low molecular weight, readily soluble in water, and diffusible, while organic molecules may be micro, e.g. monosugars, amino acids etc., or macrobiomolecules, large-sized, high molecular weight, insoluble or slightly soluble and non-diffusible, example, proteins, fats, nucleic acids, etc. These both types of biomolecules play important roles in metabolism. 1. Role of water. Water forms 70 to 90% of the cellular pool. It forms 65%, about 2/3, of human body. It is formed of H and 0 in the ratio of 2 to 1. 95% of water is found in free state and 5% in combined form in the cell. Water helps in sustaining the life processes. So water is called elixir or cradle of life, as life is not possible in the absence of water. 2. Role of oxygen. Oxygen is mainly utilized in aerobic cell respiration of the nutrients inside the mitochondria to produce energy-rich ATP molecules, so is essential for life. In the absence of oxygen, only 5% of energy available is released. 3. Role of sodium chloride. Common salt NaC1, sodium chloride plays important roles in metabolic functions of body, especially when in ionic form. 4. Role of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are organic compounds formed of C, H and 0 generally in the ratio of 1 to 2 to 1. These are commonly called saccharides, Greek saccharon equals sugar. Carbohydrates are the main storage molecules and most organisms use carbohydrates as an important fuel, breaking these bonds and releasing energy to sustain life. 5. Role of proteins. Proteins are polymeric compounds formed by interlinking of amino acids, monomers, by peptide bonds. Out of about 100 types of amino acids, only 20 types of amino acids are of biological importance, so are called magic 20. Proteins play a vital role in the formation of structures in living organisms. Like carbohydrate and fat, protein can be broken down with the release of energy. Protein is not stored as such in the body, and it is normally only used as a substantial source of energy in conditions of starvation. 6. Role of lipids. Lipids comprise a major group of insoluble hydrocarbons having many functions. These are polymers of alcohols, e.g. glycerol, and fatty acids interlinked by ester bonds. 7. Role of nucleic acid. These are polymers of nucleotides interlinked by phosphodiester bonds, so-called polynucleotides. Each nucleotide is formed of 3 components, a pentose sugar, e.g. ribose in RNA and deoxyribose in DNA, a phosphate group and an inorganic nitrogen base, a purine or a pyrimidine. Matter and energy. Technically speaking, matter and energy are interchange. Able as expressed by Albert Einstein's famous equation E equals mc squared, energy equals mass times the square of the speed of light, C9. For the chemical reactions that occur within living organisms, however, we can treat matter and energy as quite distinct from one another. Matter is the physical material of the universe, energy is the capacity to do work. Close and open system. A system is a portion of the universe that is selected within a definite boundary. The part other than the system is called surrounding. A system is said to be closed if it can exchange energy but not matter, and in this energy can be gained or lost, through stainless walls, but not matter. A system said to be open if it can exchange matter and energy with surroundings. All living systems are open systems because they are continuously exchanging matter and energy with their surroundings. Kinetic and potential energy. Kinetic energy is the energy of movement, and this includes not only movement of large objects but also movements such as electrical energy, movement of electrons, and heat, movement of atoms and molecules. Potential energy is stored energy that can be released as kinetic energy under right conditions. The food which you eat has chemical potential energy, some of which is converted into kinetic energy. Laws of thermodynamics. The laws of thermodynamics describe the basic properties of energy. All interactions among pieces of matter are governed by the two laws of thermodynamics. The laws of thermodynamics deal with isolated systems, which are any parts of the universe that cannot exchange either matter or energy with any other parts. First law of thermodynamics. The first law of thermodynamics states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but energy can change from one form to another. In other words, within an isolated system, the total quantity of energy remains constant. The first law is therefore often called the law of conservation of energy. Second law of thermodynamics. The second law of thermodynamics states that the amount of useful energy always decreases when energy is converted from one form to another. In other words, every transfer or transformation of energy makes the universe disordered. No physical process or chemical reaction is 100% efficient. Entropy is a measure of the disorder or randomness within a system. Energy flow. 1. Energy transformation. It is the phenomenon in which one form of energy is changed into another form of energy, e.g. in photosynthesis, anabolism, radiant, kinetic energy of sunlight is changed into chemical, potential, energy of glucose. All the living organisms depend upon this transformation. 2. Energy transfer. It involves the movement of energy from one source or area or substance to another in the same form. E.g. in cell respiration, catabolism, oxidative breakdown of glucose occurs inside the mitochondria of aerobic plants and animals. The glucose is enzymatically catabolized by stepped breakdown into water and CO2, and about 686 kilocalories of energy is released per mole of glucose. A part of released energy is stored as chemical energy in high energy bonds of ATP, adenosine triphosphate, formed by phosphorylation of ADP. Energy transfer. Energy transformation. Electrical energy for nerve. Impulse conduction. Chemical energy. Mechanical energy for respiration. ATP muscle contraction. Some examples of energy transformation. Example. Chemical to electrical nerve cell. Light to electrical retina of eye. Chemical to osmotic kidney. Chemical to mechanical muscles and cilia. Sound to electrical ear. Chemical to light bioluminescence. Chemical to heat horniothermy. Homeostasis. Homeostasis, GK, hornoios equals same, stasis equals standing, is the maintenance of a constant internal environment or steady state, blood plasma, hemolymph, extracellular fluid, etc. The French physiologist Claude Bernard, 1857, realized the importance of stability in the internal environment, milieu intérieur. The term homeostasis was first coined by the American physiologist Walter Bradford Cannon in 1929. Homeostasis is a fundamental property of life and is considered a good sign of life. Thermoregulation. Regulation of body heat in response to the internal and external environment of the body is called thermoregulation. As far as temperature regulation is concerned, animals can be divided into two groups, poikilothermos and homeothermos. Poikilothermic means having a variable temperature. Poikilothermic animals are described as cold-blooded, their body temperature changing with fluctuation in the environmental temperature. Homeothermic means having the same temperature. Homeothermic animals, mammals, birds and a few fishes like tuna fish and swordfish are popularly described as warm-blooded. Their body temperature is independent of environmental temperature. Growth. Growth is one of the most important characteristics of living organisms. Growth is defined as a permanent increase in size or weight or volume of an organism or its body parts, e.g. kittens grow into cats, puppies grow into dogs, and a human baby grows to become adult. At the molecular level, the growth involves 1. Increase in the size of cells due to synthesis of protoplasmic substances like cytoplasm and nucleus. 2. Addition of non-living aprotoplasmic materials like intercellular matrix, fibers of connective tissue, etc. These are secreted by the cells. 3. Increase in the number of cells by cell division. It occurs through cell cycle, which is formed of interphase and M-phase. 4. Growth is the result of greater anabolic, synthetic, processes over the catabolic, destructive, processes in an organism. The process in which reserve food material is utilized and exhibited negative growth is called degrowth. Development. 1. In general, growth involves 3 processes or strategies, namely cell proliferation, cell enlargement and secretion of large amount of extracellular matrix. 2. Growth is an important part of development, continuing throughout life. 3. Early embryonic developmental stages constitute pre-functional state of life. 4. The biological process of growth and differentiation enables the animal to enter the functional state of life. 5. Morphogenesis refers to generation of form and structure during development of an individual organism. 6. Morphogenesis produces new forms by involving cell movements. 7. 1vi orthogenetic movements of large number of cells during development is particularly noticed during gastrulation. 8. Differentiation results in increasing diversity of cells. Reproduction. 1. Reproduction is one of the most important life functions. 2. Reproduction is the only way that living things can perpetuate themselves. 3. There are a number of different ways that various kinds of organisms reproduce and compensate for the loss of life due to death. 4. Some reproductive processes known as sexual reproduction involve 2 organisms and their sex cells. 5. Asexual reproduction occurs when organisms make identical copies of themselves. Adaptation. 1. Adaptation may be defined as any characteristic of an organism which makes the organism better suited to its environment. 2. In other words, an adaptation improves the performance and survival of the organism in the environment. 3. Individuals with favorable characteristics replace those with less favorable characteristics. 4. Adaptation improves the match between organisms and their environment. 5. On the basis of their nature and role in evolution, the adaptation are classified into short-range or temporary and long-range or permanent adaptation. Lifespan. The average longevity of an organism from birth to death is called lifespan. It is different in different living organisms. Death is the permanent breakdown and finally stopping of vital functions of body, especially heartbeat and respiration. Characteristics. 1. It is the last event in the degenerative processes of aging. 2. Death involves widespread cell breakdown and cell death. 3. Death of an organism involves the death of body cells. But all the body cells do not die at same rate, e.g. ciliated cells lining the respiratory tract of mammals continue to beat their cilia for a long time even after clinical death. 4. There is no natural death in some protists, e.g. amoeba and monorans like bacteria, etc. Taxonomy. The art of identifying distinctions among organisms and placing them into groups that reflect their most significant features and relationship is called biological classification. Scientists who study and contribute to the classification of organisms are known as systematists or taxonomists, and their subject is called systematics, Greek systema equals systems or order or sequence, or taxonomy, Greek taxis equals arrangement, nomos equals law. Classical taxonomy. Taxonomy based on all available information and attempting to classify organisms according to their origin, evolution and variations is called classical taxonomy. A taxonomist engaged in studying origin, evolution, variations and classification of organisms is called classical taxonomist. History of classification. Parasra, here, angiosperms were classified into Dvimetruca, dicotyledons, and Echimetruca, monocotyledons. He was even able to find that dicotyledons bear Jallica parana, reticulate veined leaves, and monocotyledons bear monlaparna, parallel veined leaves. Hippocrates and Aristotle, they classified animals into four major groups like insects, birds, fishes, and whales in his Scala Naturae. Nomenclature. Nomenclature is the assignment of a distinctive name to each species. Almost all plants, and animals too, are known by different common names in different parts of the world. Even within the same country, people of different states and regions use different common names. One Ponioa batatas, for example, is called sweet potato in English. Shakar kandi in Urdu. The earliest scientific names were polynomial, i.e., they were composed of many words, which gave the characteristics of plants. Example, Cytocuta, a member of Malvaceae, was named as Chrysophyllum folies, Ovalis supern glabris parallel striatus subtis, Tomentus anitidus. Such long names were difficult to remember. Hence, to make it easier, binomial system of nomenclature was introduced. Binomial system of nomenclature. The credit of giving binomial system of nomenclature goes to Swedish naturalist, Carolus Linnaeus. He employed this system in his book Species P/Anterurn, published in 1753. According to this system, the name of a plant or animal is composed of two Latin, or Latinized, words. Example, potato is Solanum tuberosum and house sparrow is Passer domesticus. The first word, i.e., Solanum, indicates the name of the genus, called generic name, and the second word, i.e., tuberosum, denotes the name of the species, or a specific epithet. The generic name always begins with a capital letter and the specific name with a small letter and printed in italics. The generic and specific names always have some meaning. They are based on some special characters of the plant and animals, on the name of any scientist or on some legend. Usually the name of the author, who names the organism, is also written in full or in abbreviated form after the specific name. Thus, in case of Mangifera indica L, the L stands for Linnaeus, and in Lychnis alba Mill, the Mill stands for Miller. Sometimes a single species is described under different names by different authors. These names are called synonyms. In such cases, the name under which the species is first described is considered to be valid. Trinomial nomenclature. Certain species are divisible into smaller units, called subspecies or varieties, on the basis of finer differences. The name of the variety is written after the specific name. Thus, the name may become trinomial or three-word name. Example, Homo sapiens europaeus is the name of the man of European race. Trinomial nomenclature is simply an extension of the Linnaean system. Code of biological nomenclature. Anyone can study, describe, identify, and give a name to an organism provided certain universal rules are followed. These rules are framed and standardized by International Code of Botanical Nomenclature, ICBN, and International Code of Zoological Nomenclature, ICZN. The codes help in avoiding errors, duplication, confusion and ambiguity in scientific names. The codes are established and improved upon at International Botanical and Zoological Congress held from time to time. The names of bacteria and viruses are decided by International Code of Bacteriological Nomenclature, ICBN, and International Code of Viral Nomenclature, ICVN. Similarly, there is a separate International Code of Nomenclature for cultivated plants, ICNCP. Valid name. 1. It is not a tautonym, example, same generic and same specific name. 2. The name is new and given according to binomial nomenclature with abbreviation of author's name. 3. Its type specimen has been described in Latin. 4. The type specimen is kept in a recognized herbarium/collection. 5. The new name has been published in a widely circulated scientific journal. 6. All the names previously given to the organism must be indicated. 7. If the new name is higher than species, the taxonomic category is indicated. Type of specification. Holotype, the original type specimen from which the description of a new species is established. Isotype, duplicate of the holotype, as another branch of the same tree. Lectotype, specimen selected from original material to serve as the nomenclatural type where there is no holotype. Neotype, new nomenclatural type when the original type is missing. Paratype, any other specimen described along with the holotype. Syntype, any of two or more specimens cited by an author when there is no holotype. The taxonomic hierarchy. It is the sequence of arrangement of taxonomic categories in descending order during the classification of an organism. A hierarchy was first given by Linnaeus, who used only 5 categories: class, order, genus, species, and variety. The last one was discarded and 3 were added, so obligate categories. They are domain, kingdom, phylum/division, class, order, family, genus, species. Mnemonic equals Dr. Kushnad PCO for good students. Some categories have been added to this list. They are called intermediate categories: E.G, subkingdom, superphylum or superdivision, subdivision, superclass, subclass, superorder, suborder, superfamily, subfamily, tribe, subspecies, variety, etc. Taxon, term taxon was introduced by ICBN during 1956 and defined by Mayer, 1964. The term taxon is used to represent any unit of classification. The unit, 1.e, taxon, may be large, example plant kingdom, or small g, algae, fungi, or a single species. Category, various sub-divisions of plant kingdom such as division, class, order, family, etc., are referred to as categories. In the hierarchy of categories, kingdom is the highest and species is the lowest category. The following is hierarchical series. 1. Kingdom, it is the highest category in biological classification. Example, all plants are included in plant kingdom. 2. Division, Eichler or phylum, it is a major group in the Linnaean hierarchy used in the classification of plants, equivalent to phylum in animal classification. It is a taxonomic category between kingdom and class. The subcategory of division is subdivision, the suffix of division is phyta. 3. Class, Linnaeus, 1735, a division is divided into classes. It is a taxonomic category between the division and order. Its suffix is ae. The subcategories of class are subclass and series. The class contains organisms least similar to one another. 4. Order, Linnaeus, 1735, a class includes one or more orders. It is a taxonomic category between the class and family. Its suffix is alish. The subcategory of order is suborder. 5. Family, an order is divided into one or more families. It is the taxonomic category between the order and the genus. Its suffix is ace. The subcategories of family are subfamily, substoid, tribe and subtribe. 6. Genus, the plural of genus is genera. It comprises a group of related species which has more characters in common in comparison to species of other genera. The subcategories of genus are subgenus, section, and subsection. 7. Species, John Ray, 1693, it is the smallest rank and basic unit of taxonomic classification. The first letter of the species is denoted with small letter. The species is printed in italics, it is underlined if handwritten. A genus may include one or more species. The subcategories of species are subspecies or varieties, subvarieties, form and subform. Species concept. 1. Species is the basic unit of taxonomy. 2. Modem concept of species is biological species concept introduced by Ernst Mayr, 1942. 3. Mayr defines species as groups of interbreeding natural populations that are reproductively isolated from each other group. 4. The traditional concept of species was given by Linnaeus in Systema Naturae. This is based on morphology and is also known as morphological concept. 5. Species inhabiting the same geographical area, identical or overlapping, are sympatric. 6. Species inhabiting different geographical areas are allopatric. 7. Related species which are reproductively isolated but morphologically similar are called sibling species. 8. Classical systematic is based on the typological concept by Plato and Aristotle. 9. Genetic species concept was given by Lotze, 1918, according to which, a species is a group of genetically identical individuals. 10. Species that contain two or more subspecies are called polytypic species. 11. Species that are not subdivided into subspecies are called monotypic species. 12. Normally breeding is possible only within a species. 13. Two different species are reproductively isolated. System of biological classification. Different systems of classification proposed from time to time have been divided into three basic categories, viz., artificial systems, natural systems and phylogenetic system. However, Redford, 1986, included mechanical systems as a fourth category. 1. Artificial system of classifications. These systems are more or less arbitrary as the plants are classified merely on the basis of gross morphology, habit, and their importance to man. The main advocates of artificial system of classifications were Aristotle. He also classified animals on the basis of habitat into water, land, and air. Theophrastus, 370 BC to 285 BC. Theophrastus was a disciple of Plato and later Aristotle. In his book De Historic Plantarum, he classified about 500 kinds of plants into four major groups: trees, shrubs, subshrubs, and herbs. John Ray, he was a British botanist who published 3 volumes of his work Historic Generalische Plantarum, consisting of improved classification originally proposed by him in Methodus Plantarum Novum. He was the first to divide the groups herbs, shrubs and trees into dicots and monocots on the basis of the presence of 2 or 1 cotyledons respectively. He coined the term species. Carolus Linnaeus, father of taxonomy. A Swedish botanist, who published an artificial system of classification based exclusively on floral characters. Linnaeus published several manuscripts including Hortus Clafortionis and Genera Plantarum, 1737. In his Genera Plantarum he listed all the plant genera known to him. He published his best-known species Plantarum in 1753. In this book he listed and described all species of plants known to him. He established binomial nomenclature. 2. Natural system of classifications. These systems of classification are based not only on the characters of reproductive organs and structural morphology but used as many taxonomic characters or traits as possible to classify the organisms. The advocates of natural systems of classification are listed below. Carolus Linnaeus. The first natural system of animal classification was developed by Linnaeus in his book Systema Naturae, 10th edition 1758. Improvements were subsequently made by Haeckel, 1864, and Lankester, 1874. George Bentham, 1800 to 1884, and Joseph Dalton Hooker, 1817 to 1911, these two English botanists classified plants based on original studies of specimens. They published their well-known scheme of classification in Genera Plantarum, 1862-83. This system of classification is still regarded as the best classification, especially from the practical point of view. 3. Phylogenetic system of classifications. These systems of classifications are mainly the rearrangements of natural systems using as many taxonomic characters as possible in addition to the phylogenetic, evolutionary, informations. Some important phylogenetic systems of classifications were proposed by A. W. Eichler, 1839–1887, a German botanist who proposed phylogenetic system of classification and published in the 3rd edition of Syllabus der Vorlesungen, 1883. Adolf Engler, 1844–1930, and Karl Prantl, 1849–1893, these two German botanists classified plant kingdom on the basis of their evolutionary sequences. They started with simplest flowering plants and ended with plants of complex floral structures. C. Bessie, 1845–1915, he classified flowering plants on the basis of their evolutionary relationships. John Hutchinson, 1884–1972, a British botanist, published his phylogenetic system of classification in the families of flowering plants. Armen Takhtajan, 1980, a Russian botanist who published his system of classification in Botanical Review. Arthur Cronquist, 1981, published his classification in an integrated system of classification of flowering plants. Phylogenetic systems of classification for animals given by Dobzhansky and Mayer. New systematics or biosysternatics. The term new systematics was proposed by Sir Julian Huxley in 1940. In the new systematics, the species are considered related to one another, mutable, and the work of gradual modification. This is in conformity with the facts of evolution.